Today, we're going to be diving into one of my favorite, if not my favorite country in terms of lifestyle in all of Latin America, and that is Peru. Today, we're going to be diving into how you can get residency in Peru, what the residency options look like, as well as from a lifestyle perspective, everything that Peru has to offer, finishing off with the optimal business tax that is great for new entrepreneurs. So let's dive into Peru and first talk about the lifestyle perspective of why you may want to reside in Peru and what it has to offer you. As I said, the country of Peru is one of my favorites in Latin America. Now, I absolutely love spending time in Peru, specifically in Lima. But one thing that I really love about this country is that there are options. Whether you want big city living, you have Lima. And if you want history, of course, Peru is an amazing country for this. Of course, there's Machu Picchu, but there's also so much more to this, especially if you look into the Nazca lines. There are so many interesting key history points in Peru. Another nice aspect of the country is that it has city, it has desert, and of course, it also has part of the Amazon rainforest. So, of course, you can spend time in the rainforest, but you can also spend time in the desert, specifically in a desert oasis in the beautiful town of Huacachina. So, whatever you're looking for, whether it be big city life, jungle life, of course, beach life as it's on the Pacific coast throughout the country, or small city living, Peru really has it all. Another aspect of Peru that I adored was the food. If you like seafood, fish, then there is going to be an abundance and a variety of food in Peru. Now, of course, you have some of the top restaurants in the world, which do have quite a wait list if you're looking to get in, but you can easily spend upward of 100 USD plus in some of these restaurants, while you can also eat at the local restaurant, the local tiendas, with amazing fresh ceviche, fresh seafood, and be paying as little as 5 US dollars for a whole meal. So, not only in landscapes, but also in food, Peru really has it all if you love the flavors of the ocean. And last but not least, the people of Peru are very kind, very welcoming. Of course, this is important when, as a global citizen, you are planning to live in a location for the long term. There is a great expat community near Miraflores, Barranco in Lima, where, of course, most of the foreigners are going to be. You're also going to have beautiful beachfront views, but you can also choose to live more locally. And this is where you will truly get to experience the charm of the local people in Peru. When I was in Peru, some areas of Lima actually reminded me a lot of some areas of Mexico and Mexico City and Michoacan. It really stood out to me for similar colors, structures of buildings. Unless you're in the downtown core areas of Lima, you're not going to see too many high rises. And this is definitely nice and really does give me more of that Mexican feel. So, of course, let's dive into residency options and how you can obtain residency in the beautiful country in Peru. Now, for the Rentista visa, which is going to be the most common visa, you are going to need a passive income of around 1,000 US dollars. So, passive income in Latin America is typically defined as dividend income from any stocks, ETFs, investments that you hold, or of course, rental income, and then the deed is in your name. So, that is generally how passive income is defined in Latin America. And Peru is going to want to see 1,000 USD minimum of recurring passive income. You can also bring an additional dependent or dependents onto your application for a small additional fee. And so that will increase that monthly passive income amount based on how many additional applicants and dependents are going to be on your application. Once you have your Rentista visa in Peru, they're going to want to see you transferring this money into the country every month. We will help to set up a bank account in your name once you have acquired residency. And then from there, you can monthly wire transfer the fund into your Peruvian account. And this does have to be coming in monthly, as this income will continue to qualify you for the Rentista visa. However, if you do not have passive income, another option that can qualify you quite easily for residency in the beautiful country of Peru is through a company formation. So you can become an employee of your own company. And of course, there are additional fees. There's social security, there's monthly accounting with the company, and there is the company structure itself that needs to be set up. But with this, you will then be able to obtain residency in Peru. Not only this, but on both of these visa options, you can bring family members with you. So if you qualify through residency for the company formation option as an employee of that company, then of course you can add family members onto that application. And if you have residency in Peru, but your family does not, there is also a family visa, which is not a primary option that we typically see in order to gain residency in Peru. But if you have family who would like to come to Peru and you currently reside in Peru, then the option of the family member visa could also potentially be for you. Now, let's talk about PR and citizenship in Peru. So, yes, you are able to obtain permanent residence in Peru after residing in the country 6 months plus per year for 3 years. So, 2 years to qualify for citizenship, similar to Argentina, but 3 years to qualify for permanent residence, which we're going to dive into both PR and citizenship and what those options look like. So, you do have to legally have lived in Peru with a temporary work visa, family related visa, your rentista visa, some sort of visa in order to legally be in Peru. And it's also important to note that the residency starts when your visa is approved, not the day that you first enter the country or the day that you first get granted that tourist visa to Peru. And as is the case with both PR and citizenship in Peru, the country is going to want to see before they grant you either PR or citizenship that you do have a monthly income. It's going to be around $15,000 as of 2024. Again, this price will likely increase as we see all residency and citizenship programs changing and only increasing in cost and difficulty. But as it currently stands, they're going to want to see that you have that approximate annual income in order to apply. So after 2 years' time, you are able to qualify for citizenship, of course, granted that you have certain ties to the country. So, of course, first you need that residency to qualify for 2 years, which we already spoke about the various different options, very lucrative options that you can use to qualify for residency in Peru. After 2 years' time, you qualify for citizenship. After 3 years' time, you qualify for permanent residence. And then we typically see about 3 to 4 years of you having lived and resided in Peru as your home country. That is when you will then be granted citizenship. So, of course, with any of these countries where in 2 or 3 years' time you can get citizenship, that is the qualification period. We usually see it's an additional 1 to 2 years. On average, it can be more, just depending on especially where your current citizenship is from. But that is the time frame that you will then have the citizenship in hand. Once you have the citizenship, then you can go ahead and apply for the passport. The passport is not granted automatically, not until the citizenship is granted. And that's very standard in every country. So, of course, as with most countries, to qualify for citizenship, they want to see that you have really lived in the country for said number of years, that you are having banking there, potentially that you have business there, that you have some ties to the country. If you have real estate, that will definitely work in your favor as well. That you really have ties to the country, you understand the culture, and of course, that you understand at least basics of the Peruvian language. And again, with the citizenship, there's quite a low minimum annually to qualify. So you're looking at around 15,000 USD, and you have to have that income out of country outside of Peru. And you need to have that in order to qualify. It does not need to come into Peru, but you do need to prove that you make either that much or more annually. Of course, as I've previously talked about on the channel, there is an interesting business opportunity if you are starting a business in Peru, a local business on the ground. If you're making around 150,000 USD, of course, in local currency in the Sol, but if you are making around that on an annual basis in the business, then you can benefit from 1.5% corporate tax rate. So, very beneficial for new businesses who are just starting in Peru. Of course, after that amount, Peru will go up to the standard tax rate. Peru is by no means a friendly tax haven country, but forget about tax havens, forget about saving on tax for a few years because it is very beneficial to offer you citizenship if you have the money and the time to spend on the ground. I highly, highly recommend spending some time in Peru. So let's touch on real estate options very quickly. Of course, this varies very much so depending on the area that you're looking to purchase in. I'm specifically focusing here on Lima, but prices are still quite competitive. You can get pricing near the water. It's not going to be on the water, but you can get a somewhat new condo for around 200, 250K in Lima. Again, this is crazy pricing. We have seen quite a bit of price increase even in the last year throughout Latin America. And again, this could be streets away from the water. If you're looking to get ocean views on the water, you could be looking at three, four, maybe even 500, depending on the space. Of course, it can very much so go up from 500 depending on the space. But for a one, two bedroom apartment, these are prices that you can generally expect as a foreigner. And no, you do not need residency in order to purchase real estate. You can purchase real estate as a non resident in Peru. And unfortunately, there is currently no investment visa in Peru. So there is no option to start a business and obtain residency or to invest in local real estate and obtain residency. I know it is such a shame. I would immediately be buying property if this were the case. However, this is not the case, but you can still enjoy a beautiful lifestyle in a nice condo on or close to the water. And I highly recommend the areas of Miraflores, Barranco, still excellent prices if you are looking to get in and obtain residency in Peru. If you're interested in learning more about Peruvian residency and if it could work for you specific to your case, feel free to book a consultation with us below. We're happy to dive into your case, the specifics of what you are seeking, and the lifestyle that you're planning and mapping out for either the short term future or the long term future for the next 20, 30 plus years. Book a call with us if you're interested in learning more about your options and your global diversification for the long term. And don't forget to click the video on the screen if you're interested in learning more about becoming a global citizen.